Yes, it is. I'm not ready to turn the whatchamabobber. I'll do that shit later. See, they thought they got us. They did not. They did not. That's why I waited. Something about that 2 minute mark. It's like 2:30, 2:20. The sound cuts out. I figured them out. Y'all hear that? Yeah, that sounds gross. It's terrible feedback. Ew. I hope y'all don't hear that. I barely hear myself. I'm going crazy, Susan. Fix the sound. I pay you too much for that. You gotta treat me. What's good? Start treating me like Howard. I have hair, by the way. I know y'all never see it, but I do. And it's a thing. So I do want to let you know that there's hair there. All right, let's get into today's show. Should be a good one. I have some good topics. Again, if you want to listen to the music, you got to head over to Apple Podcasts. You got to head over to anywhere that podcasts are streamed because we're like everywhere. But I did not shout out to who? No, I won't do shout outs, bro. You send in a Cash App donation and we do a shout out for whoever you want. But you got to send in a donation. And it's, my Susan. Susan don't get no shout out. Susan, you don't get shit, Susan. Susan don't get nothing. Oh, yo, my bad. Yo, real, why you made me do that, bro? All right, we about to start the pod. You know what made me feel good? I've gained weight during COVID, but I'm real strong, so it's okay. Like I'm not too mad. Song. Cock and spray. I don't like this damn thing. It's like pause. Bow. What's that shit they do with MSMR? I know much dank or some shit. It's Kasabian. Kasabian Lavoe wine. As I stuff my face with this McFlurry. What's a good McFlurry? How y'all doing? Y'all good? I only do it. Thank you, Susan. I only do it because people like that shit. I promise you do. Shout out to the millions and millions of podcast listeners. Y'all are amazing. Shout out to the viewers. Y'all are amazing. Basically, everybody's amazing. That's what we saying. I'm having a good day. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Like I said, we're trying to change things up. I'm trying to put a little more structure in how we do the show. Welcome to episode 176 of the Kasabian Lavoe Show, live from Las Vegas. It's a beautiful, hot, 95 million degree day. I've been sweating all day. These lights are really hot. So although we're trying to be professional, I need to tell you something. These lights are really, really hot. I'm dying. Me estoy melting. ¿Tú entiendes? I am melting. All right, so for today's show, for those of you that stream online or do business online, we need to discuss off-server misconduct. This is something that's like new, at least to me, and if you don't know what it is, I'd like to bring it to you. I want to talk about Twitches because they sent me an email today and made me aware of it, and I think it's some good information that we should all have. YG's music was taken down. Let's talk about why. Paul Pierce threw a party and lost his job. It looked like a great party. Facebook had a data leak. Is anybody surprised? The vaccine passport. Do you know how many countries require vaccines? Because it's more than what I thought. I was surprised, and I've been to many of them. Update on Oakland. I want to talk about that. I have an update, and I do want to correct a couple things. Biden wants to patch the wall. We'll talk more about that. The MLB played politics, and it cost Georgia. Do you want to know how much it cost Georgia? Stick around to find out. That's how we doing it this time. You see, I'm trying to do like you're doing on TV. And what is voter suppression? And is that what's going on? I beg my pardon. And is that what's going on in Georgia? So let's get into it. Last episode, I was talking about a person that has a podcast on Patreon who was removed from Patreon for something that she did off their platform, which would be off server. Now, it seems that these corporations have now gotten together and they're coming up with their own rules as to what you can do anywhere. Now, I'm not saying do hateful things. I'm just saying, as a business owner myself, I don't care if you go home and bang your head against the wall or whatever your kicks are. I don't care. Just don't do that in a uniform. Don't do it where people see you, and don't bring it to work. So the idea that they have control or they're monitoring what you do off server is kind of scary. Like, I understand they want to keep people away from like starting hate groups and militias and things of that nature, but that's not really what bothers me. What scares me more is like, what are the rules and where can I be myself, or as a jokester that has satire, where can I express that satire? I'm a contrarian to most of what, the mainstream is talking about. Like, do I get silenced because I have a different view on what's going on? Yeah, that was you on the screen. I'm fearful of these things. As a rapper, we fought for the First Amendment. Like, that was a big deal for hip hop. They wanted to stop our music, because our music influenced misogyny, our music influenced drugs, gang violence, and all these things that I understand where that stems from, but you can't blame music for bad parenting. You can't blame music for you can't blame music for raising your kids. I'm sorry. It's not acceptable. And that was pretty much the argument. I've always said that I never judge an artist off their work. If an artist is good, then I'm gonna, Shout out. I love good music and I love good movies. Like, what are we going to do? Start censoring movies now? Like, are we going to start taking movies and go, ooh, that was insensitive? That was this, that was that. Or, hey, I heard you did a movie, so we're going to fire you off your TV show because of what that movie did. You see what I'm saying? Like, where does it stop? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what the purpose of monitoring what I'm doing. Like, I understand. Listen, if it's something hateful, if it's where you're bullying somebody or you're, whatever is the bad things, but we have to like have a clear cut idea of what bad is, and then we have to understand the difference between a joke, satire, or some type of where do we draw the line between reality and comedy of some sort? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I'm having a bad day. Can I not express myself because I'm having a bad day? Am I gonna lose my income from YouTube because of something I do on Facebook? Like, Facebook has and here I go snitching. Facebook has weed companies on Facebook that promote their business, which is we have a dispensary come in, right? But I post a picture of weed and I get banned. Mind you, I've posted pictures of weed for years before it was legal in Nevada. Here's the catch: marijuana is legal in Nevada. Why am I getting banned or blocked for something that's legal? Then you would ban or block people that are drinking and taking pictures. See, now you're editing my life. You're changing what I do. You're taking away my pictures. You're taking away what I'm, my life. Like, I have to edit my life now because I'm gonna get demonetized. Like, I pay for services that auto post. When you block my page, you don't only just block my personal page. You block my business pages, which affects all of those systems that I pay for. They hit you with errors and they don't stop charging you. But if I post a picture on IG because Facebook owns it, I understand that correlation. But damn, now Twitch is going to trip. So if I post weed on IG and get blocked for 7 days, does Twitch get mad at me for what I did? Does YouTube get mad at me for what I did? Like, how does that even work? Or do you take money from me because of that? Like, we have to figure out where these lines are drawn because now our lives are being edited by these people. And it's like, where do we draw the line? Like, off server, like, when does it get to the point where they say fuck off server? Like, whatever you do in public, wherever you are, if we find you on tape doing something crazy, it's a wrap, yo. Like, we're just gonna boot you. What? Like, your job can't do that to you. Schools can't. Like, I get pissed off when a school has a problem when I do my girls get their hair done. Like, my daughters will put color in their hair in the school. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, the fuck we can. That's weird to me. Don't tell me what to do. If I come and get my job done, don't tell me what to do. Like, none of that shit matters. Like, bro, I live. You could ask Rio. That's a whole different conversation. Anyway, off-server misconduct. Look into it. If you're a streamer, if you're a person that makes money online, you may want to be aware of what these rules are and what the regulations are and what that means for you, because this definitely can affect your business. YG's music was taken down because of a lyric in a song in 2014. Now, the song has been taken down from all streaming services because of recent events with subsequently Asian attacks. And everybody puts a spotlight on things when we start talking about certain subjects because the news is cyclical. In no way, shape, or form can you prove in a court of law that YG's song has caused anything that's going on. If anything, music is a description and a depiction of your life. How are we holding rappers and artists accountable for their lyrics for things that are happening 7, 6 years, 8 years later? What? That's what I'm saying. This is the same thing with the off server. Like, do we go back now and edit everybody's posts? Do we edit all the movies? Like, do we edit out all the TV shows? Like, where does it stop? You shouldn't be able to censor nobody's music. I don't find censoring people's music fixing anything. Like, the idea that you censor somebody because you don't like what they say is completely fucking preposterous. Like, this show is based on not sounding like every other hip-hop show that brings you politics, news, and pop culture. We have to look at things differently, from a different perspective. My goals should be the same as anybody that's on the left or the right when it comes to politics, which is whatever betters the people. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that I should be censored because I don't put it out there the way you do. Like, that's outrageous. Like, you telling me we all have to live exactly the same? Like, how crazy is that? Do you not know how hard it is to get neighborhoods to get along? Buildings, families. I've said this before. Perspective in a home is so different. You can ask two people that grew up in the same home and they'll give you a completely different perspective. So right and wrong is very subjective. There's certain right and wrongs that we all can agree on. But if I'm telling a story, and it just so happens that there's an issue, and honestly, we can't say it's widespread hate towards one race. There's not like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 attacks a day. It's not a thing. Like, these are very small pocketed situations. And again, the news lies to us, so they do these things where they make it seem like all of a sudden the Asian plight is that the same of the black plight or the brown, Latin, and Hispanic people. I don't think that's the case. Like, violence is violence, and we should definitely take care of violence, but by no means is anybody out here listening to YG chasing down Asian people and breaking into their homes. The lyric was that we break into people's homes because we know they don't use banks. It's depiction of what we do. Like, my music, has different aspects in it where I say 90% of my music is reality and 10% is concept. Like, do I get blocked for the sexual content? Because where does it end? Okay, so YG gets taken down for a lyric about breaking into homes, but nonetheless, here I go snitching again. The little boy, Lil Nas X, gets to do the video with the devil and Satan. Like, we know that there's a devil or some type of a evil. There's a yin and yang. We understand this. Like, it doesn't bother me that he does that. Like, you see, I don't have an issue with what anybody does with their art. Do what you do. I think it's more about I mean, if it's blatant hate, yeah, we have to really discuss that and be adults. But if it's art, it has to be taken as such. And gang culture is real. Like, you can't take away that history. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way that you're just gonna erase history because you feel like it. Like, that's fucking crazy. Yes, these cartoons were nuts back in the day, but that's where they were. We should learn from that. Don't take that shit away. You gotta look at that and go, wow, that's fucking nuts. I can't believe that. It doesn't make any sense. Like, we can't all just fall in line and have one mind thought. Like, no, that's not okay. I like talking to people about different things. I like learning. I want you to teach me. I always ask people when they're talking to me, teach me. Just put me in your shoes. Like, what makes you think this way and why? Like, and keep it to one subject. It's hard to have conversations with people when they can't stick to one subject. But let's keep talking about this overreach into your private life, because that's basically what this is. So Paul Pierce threw a party, and let me be honest with you, I'm in Vegas. We're live from Vegas, and it gets pretty nasty in Vegas. But you can ask Rio, he's in the chat. When you go to them big poker rooms, there's scantily clad women, there's entertainment, there's masseuses, there's bottles, you can smoke, you can drink and eat and play poker and spend money, win money, and live in a very comfortable. There's pretty boys too. Like, let's not get it wrong. Pause. There's dudes in there, and there's women in there spending big money too. So that's an average Monday in Vegas. Like, that's the afternoon. Like, that's not even nothing that we would like bat an eye at. But Paul Pierce threw a party in similar fashion. Like some lightweight downtown Vegas. Lightweight, nothing crazy. Had a good time. About 300 people on his live. Not a big deal. And he got fired. ESPN is owned by Disney, so I guess it makes sense. I don't understand what he violated. He's in his private home. He's not hurting anybody. There was no hate. And I mean, hate, blatantly saying go hurt somebody, nothing like that. He wasn't promoting smoking. He wasn't promoting anything with the women. Like, he was having a good time. Somebody make me understand, like, is that off-server misconduct? That's kind of nuts. I wanted to update what I talked about in Oakland, because I was under the impression, and the way the article read, was that the government was giving out money to all families that needed help except white. Well, that's not true. It's a private entity, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. So if they don't want to help white people, I can't tell them to do nothing. That's up to them to have that compassion. And from what I read, it's not that they're not helping white people. I guess they're just helping them less. And either way, it's none of my business. That's their business. I thought it was a government thing. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. I mean, I had an entire conversation with a family member of mine that's out in California, and he was like, yeah, good on them. I was like, yo, but poor is poor. Like, how can you blame that shit on, if you a poor hillbilly, you a poor hill, what the fuck you got to do with, anything that would negatively impact another person. You know, my biggest issue when it comes to anything government related is that if it takes away from somebody to give to somebody, it's not working. So we have to have a different way. What else? Okay. What does the cost of politics, or what is the cost of playing politics as a business? The MLB All-Star game was supposed to be in Georgia, and this voter suppression issue is brought up, and they want to play Captain Save, so they jump up and they say, you know what, we don't like what they're doing with this law, so we're going to take our business elsewhere. Democrats don't understand that those weird woke stances don't do nothing but hurt their city. The price of playing politics in this case is $100 million. We're in a recession. People are dying for money. I think any business right now would love to have an insurgence of money, and $100 million, knowing that you have some type of share of $100 million. A percentage of a percent would be more money than you have made in a year and a half, and you're going to run them away because of bullshit. It's just all bullshit. The law isn't the racist part of this either. The racist part is the people that are fighting the law, because their rationality is that poor black and brown people can't get IDs. They're too stupid to get them. Let that sink in, because that's all they're really asking for. No rules. There's no crazy rules. They just want you to have an ID, and if you mail it in, you got to put your ID number on there. What is racist about that? Nothing. In reality, it's vice versa. It's not racist at all. It's very neutral. You use an ID to get, cigarettes? You use IDs to cash checks. You use IDs for a million things. They're pushing this Jim Crow bullshit. It's just not a thing. It's not happening. Just have an ID. Just have an ID. How hard is it to get an ID? We should all be more offended that they feel like minorities can't figure out how to get fucking IDs. They grill us for IDs all the time. They know we got IDs. But that's the fight. Their argument is we just want it to be easy for everybody. Well, how hard is it to pull out a fucking ID? It's a terrible fight. So they're building the wall again. And I said, I thought the wall was a bad thing. Why are we going back to build the wall? And then they said, we're not building the wall. We're just patching it in between. But shit, Trump said the same thing. We built all the wall. We just got to finish a couple holes. So apparently, if Biden builds the wall, it's a good thing. So I put up the comment. I was told in the comments that Trump did such a bad job at building the wall, Biden had to come and fix it. The guy that's never built nothing, the guy that's never ever put his foot down to make something, to protect something, to even do anything in a positive light, is the person that's come to fix the problem. Well, I thought the issue was the wall. Like, you gotta get your story straight. Now you're telling me the wall's a good thing because he's fixing it, but the wall was a bad thing when Trump was doing it? Like, you see, your rationality don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. The wall is necessary. The fear is necessary to keep people from being hurt. That's my big issue. When you see these babies out here getting hurt, man, I'm not going to stop fighting for this. If we do it right, we can give them opportunities. But the same people that say come here to have opportunities are telling you this place is a hateful, racist, bigoted piece of shit country and you shouldn't be here. You got to make up your fucking mind. You got to make up your mind. But kids are being hurt. Now, yeah, you say they want to come here for opportunity. I believe that too. I would love for people to have opportunity. Yes, that's a great idea. Unfortunately, there's been years and years and years of money that's been allocated and given to these countries to help their people, and they've spent it the wrong way, and they've done nothing for their people. I never blame the people for wanting to have an opportunity. Jesus, I wish everybody could live good. It's not even fair that you see these babies doing this. Like, them babies look like my babies, bro. That shit breaks my fucking heart. But how do we fix it? We need first security. Let's just get that shit squared away. Then we need to really sit down as adults. And I say this because it feels like we're a bunch of fucking children. As adults, we need to sit down and come up with a real plan to fix immigration. A real reform that makes sense. Get rid of DACA. DACA doesn't work. If people are already here, we need to understand that the road for them to be legitimate citizens, it should be a way shorter road, especially those that have been here 30, 40 years. Listen, I grew up with some of these kids. They're Americans. Yes, assembly is a thing. We need to work on assembly. I know a lot of Spanish people are very proud and they won't learn English. They don't care for English. That's fine. you can be the exception. We're going to allow it. Believe this country is very bilingual. Let's be honest. I mean, the language of America is English and Spanish. Just being honest. Because they always put si habla español everywhere. They don't ever put every other language. It's always Spanish. Even everywhere. It's just what they do. So we can honestly say that this country does speak English and Spanish. Now, we're asking that you learn the history, that you respect the history and understand the laws. That's what we want. We want that type of assembly. People feel like they want you to come here and say fuck where you're from. Not at all. We don't want that. Just be proud to be an American. I know Cubans that come here and they have to go through hell, and they are the most American Americans you'll ever meet. And they'll tell you this place is amazing because of opportunity. But then you have people literally telling you in your face that there's no opportunity here, you can't make it nowhere, and you ain't shit because of the color of your skin. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And then their fight for the wall is, hold on, people are just coming here because they want opportunity. That's fine. I want everybody to have opportunity, but here's the point. There's 100,000 homeless people in LA. What are we going to do with them? If we can't fix what we have going on here at home, how are we supposed to extend a hand to help? You know, we need to have school reform. We need to have investment in our people, in American people, into our children. My son reaches out and touches the screen on everything because of his iPad. If Apple doesn't upgrade all of their machinery to have touch screens, they are going to lose out on a shitload of kids who have grown up touching screens. You see what I'm saying? Like, times are changing. There's nothing that's the same. This idea of Common Core education is stupid as fuck. We have finally come into a time where, I'm drawing a blank, but not a blank. I just don't know how to word it right. We finally come into a time where technology is honestly helping education, and we can teach kids how to learn what they need instead of learn what we think is necessary for life. Because unfortunately, 80% of the bullshit you learn in school is just that. Bullshit. From the way you do mathematics to the way that they got you fucking reading things that won't even make any sense when you leave school. There's nothing. School should be preparation for work. If people, I don't know, understood economics, basic taxes, basic taxation, maybe legitimate policies and politics. I know it's boring, but there has to be better way. That's your job, is to come up with ways to teach it. We have to invest in our people. We have to stop fighting for free colleges and start fighting for just better education. Who gives a fuck what college you go to? I know more millionaires that dropped out of high school than I do know that have graduated college. And I got my college degrees on a fucking bus on a computer online. I mean, for whatever that's fucking worth. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how the fuck we got here. Like, I'm so lost right now. Dead ass, yo. I'm very passionate about this type of shit because, you know, I want to see my Spanish people overcome hiding in the shadows, man. Like, I've seen some hard working dudes, man. Beautiful families with so much love go through so much fucking stress and agonizing pain when this shit comes down on them as far as immigration and yeah, we're not treated the same. I got a lot of hate because of being, I'm Puerto Rican. I don't need papers. Like, I'm good. I'm American. I've seen it firsthand. I know what it does to people. I know the idea of being under that much anxiety. Yo, at one point in my life, I had warrants in all three places in this town. Yo, Henderson, North Las Vegas, both city and county. So I have 4. And yo, the anxiety that you get, the hypervigilance that you get, that shit ain't no good, man. You live with high blood pressure. People go crazy. That shit ain't no good, bro. It really isn't. But we have to start somewhere. The idea the wall's getting finished, great. Let's finish the fucking wall. Then we can work on some type of homeless reform, which would then lead us into immigration reform, and we can really help these kids and really help these places. And most people don't want to leave. Can we be honest that a lot of people love where they're from and they just want a better place to live and raise their children? Like, maybe not everybody wants to come here. Maybe they just really want to get away just from the bad shit. Like, they would love to stay home, but they don't want to deal with that bullshit. See what I'm saying? So head over to klavoe.com, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. I appreciate y'all. And that was it for today. Loner, I see you. Rio, appreciate you. Everybody that watched. I'm going to go play video games with my friends.